knew that.
Why, did you watch that movie, The Perfect Storm?
No.
They show the guys packing them, like, in there.
Oh, yeah, but he's huge. 2150.
They even have ships where they actually fillet the fish and everything on there and can it.
No one's fishing in Florida.
You'll be the first one on the air. Can you hold?
Sure.
Okay, just wait for the intro.
No problem.
Oh, and welcome to Taxpayer Hotline. What was that all about?
What?
Paramilitary? And here, this is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski with my two cohorts or friends.
DJ.
And Ron?
And you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah, we got a bill
vengeance.
we got a bill from where you were too. What'd you do down there? You embarrassed the Commonwealth?
No, I talked to a lot of people. Irritate.
Wait, we got a phone caller. We got a.
That's okay. I'm enjoying listening. That's okay.
Well, we'll keep going and rambling. So go ahead. This is about taxpayers. So go ahead, ma'am.
Well, listen, I called you a couple months back when I was down in Florida.
Right.
Checking up on you guys, and now I'm back.
Ooh.
And I have a question. I was traveling over East 38th Street, and I'm going, well, something isn't right here. Something looks very different. I don't like it. It's very odd.
Yeah.
I said, oh, they tore down all those trees along the boulevard.
Oh yeah. You're talking about like from Mercyhurst over to like the VA hospital.
Yeah. What the heck's going on there? It looks horrible.
They decided the arborists did that they were in bad shape, and I'm not, to be truthful with you, I don't know if there's going to be any replants, or I'll have to ask her or try to get her on the show. But they deemed that they were not in good shape, and they came in. I remember they came in.
Zip zap gone.
Yeah, they zapped them quick.
Well, I thought that now the arborist you're saying from City Hall, right?
Right? Yes.
But I was always under the impression that East 38th was controlled by the state of Pennsylvania.
Yes, it is, but she'll submit a request to them, and if they have no, they work with us on that. They weren't paying for it, so, we tore them down, I think, at our expense.
I can't, all the trees in the city that have torn up the sidewalk and making it horrible, hazardous for pedestrians to walk the sidewalk, and they're ripping up. They look perfectly fine to me.
I'm going to have to ask her. I've been trying to talk to her and I haven't had much luck lately. She's been out. I'm going to ask her what her plans are for that, because it was interesting. I was at a meeting not too long ago I just got out of it. That's why I was running late. In Mill Creek now they're doing the opposite. They're requiring that all parking lots and like public spaces and things will have trees now.
Nice.
And so but what they're doing that we didn't do in the past is they're putting in certain types of trees that are resistant to
The weather.
The pollution and the salt and all that. As much as they can be.
The usual tree disease.
Yeah, because
I thought maybe they were going to put in turning lanes, which wouldn't be bad.
well, I tell you the truth. The last we were told was sometime. Well, they're doing preliminary work. I see them every once in a while, but I think next year we were told that they're planning on looking at. Councilman Mursky and I put a request in that they study left-hand turn lanes on Old French Road and Pine Avenue for certain, and they may be looking at the boulevard as to what they're going to do. They may, that may be an issue. They haven't told us yet, but I know they're constantly toying with those boulevards, and that may be one of the issues too. But I'll try to get an update for you, okay, ma'am?
Well, yeah, and I have one other question.
Sure.
Now, there's a property owner on my street. We're going into the third year now where her cement in front of her house has been torn up.
Right.
And just tossed off to the grass. And she has like an orange snow fence type thing that's no longer standing up. It's on the ground as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I've called Andy Zimmerman's office and I've filed a couple of complaints both by phone
Right.
and email. And like I said, I'm back here again from Florida, and I'm driving down the street, and sure as hell, Nothing's done about it.
Did you call code, you said, or you?
Oh, yeah, Andy Zimmerman's office.
What did he say?
Never get a response.
He never called you back?
No. Which leads me to one other question involving code. Also on our street, we have 2 new homeowners, and they're all young. They're like in their 20s.
Right.
They could be, they just don't know any better. They're parking on the damn grass. The other day, I had 3 cars up on their front lawn.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you know, if you say something to code or you leave them a message, there's nothing, well, we can't do anything about that because, you know, it's after hours. Well, if it's on the weekend or after hours, what are we supposed to do?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not going to do nothing anyway, and I'll tell you, we have that massive problem on East 38th Street right now with the college kids. And the way when we checked into it, that was the neighborhood watch. We got actually 2 different messages from Mr. Zimmerman. Now, if he's listening to the show and he wants to dispute my comments, he's free to come down here or call me. But he told the neighbors one thing, and then we found out it was another thing. The way I understand it is, if you want to park on your front lawn, it is permissible, providing the city engineer comes out there and makes sure that the area that you're paving, there are restrictions on how much space it can take because of ground absorption and all that. They will allow you to do it if you pave it or if you cover it with a suitable material. I think like gravel.
Gravel, right? Yeah,
right.
We all know that.
But you have to apply for that. I don't know if there's a cost, but so many of the people that are doing it now, if I was to check on them, I would imagine it's just like the merchants on State Street who have not properly asked for permission to put chairs out in the street. And I'm gathering that probably a lot of these people that are parking on the side never bothered to go through the legal channels. And to be truthful, we have gotten very little support from the administration or Mr. Zimmerman's office in trying to correct that problem.
So this is what you do. You take down the addresses of all the people that are violating.
Right.
You send them a letter. You put the application for the permit in the mail and put a letter that says, if this isn't filled out and returned within 30 days, you're going to get fined.
Trouble is, nobody wants to do that. So, ma'am, do you want to give me the address off the air or on the air?
No, I'll give it. I don't know the exact address, but it's the first house on Rice Avenue.
Whereabouts?
38th Street?
Yeah.
Which?
38th and right.
Oh, 38th Street?
The first house, once you get off of 30... Come on now.
Yeah, you're talking about
East side of the street.
when you turn right off of 38th, heading south, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take. I go to the breakfast place Friday and Saturday, so I'll make sure I go by
You
there.
can't miss it. There's a car on the front lawn.
Yeah, that one there. But is that also the one with the lady with the so-called snow fence that's not there too, or is that the same house?
That's further up on the right-hand side. That's like 41st, 40th Street on Rice Avenue.
Okay, I'll check them both out because I go that way often, either on my way shopping or going up there to the breakfast place.
Twice on a weekend eating?
Well, we have a meeting.
Old man like you?
We have a meeting on Friday amongst certain citizens, an advisory group like, and then Saturday I take my mother. Okay, go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
But like I said, sometimes all it takes is for somebody with a little bit of authority, it'd be code, it'd be a police officer driving by, just rap on the door. Do you guys understand that you're not supposed to be doing this? Sometimes that's all it takes.
You know, ma'am, if you get a chance, I want you to look up the city's comprehensive plan that they just did, and carefully read the comments that the gentleman wrote, and he addresses the issue of even the eye blight when people do that type of thing where they start parking on the, you start running down the vision you get from out of towners. Now remember, people are coming to visit the VA hospital, or they're visiting, Mercyhurst. Maybe some don't care, but it's also a gateway to the city coming down Pine Avenue.
Yeah.
And when you see that, I mean, what's your first impression?
Old broken window.
Yeah, and cars parked on the lawns. It looks like well, I don't want to mention a certain state, but in a certain state south of us, that's the impression people get of that state.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, we have complained, I mean, the neighborhood watch did, and I don't think people are being very aggressive, and I'm going to look that one up where the people are, I'm going to start looking a few up at random and just seeing.
Be at night. Listen, how much longer till Timot's out of there?
Well, he runs when I do in 2 years. Not this year, but
You got 2 more
next year. Well, I'm in half.
Next year is his last year.
Well, yes, because my term, I'm in my 3rd year, and next year's the year after, that'll be his last year. And
Wait a minute. Senate is going to be there for almost 2 years?
well, about a year, but a balance of this year and next year.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's what I say, too.
Well, I mean, I've been trying to convince people that, the reason why the city's in some of the trouble it's in is over the years we were not very proactive in taking care of little problems. The window that got broken.
Right.
And all of a sudden, when people see that the city's not doing anything, so then they say, well, why should I do anything? So they don't mow their lawn, they get care less, and then they start. When I was a kid, you very rarely saw people parking up on sidewalks and all that. Now it's a norm, and they tell you, walk around. Walk. We got a sidewalk ordinance, but I challenge anybody on the east side.
Well, I wish I could tell you I was happy to be back in Erie, but I'm not. Hey, DJ, how's that rake and shovel project coming along?
As much as I would love to do it, we cannot find a place. Right now, we currently have a 400 square foot location. There's no buildings in the city that will give up.
So let's make an open request today. Has somebody got an old warehouse or building?
There's a lot of old warehouses and building. The problem is there's a lot of realtors in the area with an iron grasp on all of the properties, and I cannot find somebody who will give us a break.
Let's contact the Sisters of St. Joseph. They're coming to the east side now.
Yeah.
And do their magic like they did at Little Italy. I bet you they can find us a warehouse.
It's still in my mind, and I still want to do it. I just can't do it where we currently are housed.
All right, guys. Hey, like I said, I wish I could say I was happy to be back.
Well, you know what, man? We got to get more people like you to be very vocal.
Yeah.
And maybe, start waking up people, because some people don't think it's a problem. But, I'm looking at my city, and I'm not very proud of it. And sometimes.
No. Hey, shout out to my brother, and I'll keep up the good work, guys.
Okay.
Take care.
Hey.
Bye.
But
What happened to this $3 million the county lost?
what do you mean? Oh, that?
The think tank, yeah.
You have to ask them. They're not going to tell you, are they?
How about the $27 million that they borrowed, and the states coming, the federal government's coming in the 16th and the 17th to redo the same thing they're doing?
Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Hello? What happened?
Wrong button.
No, they're
Oop.
hear you breathing.
No, they borrowed $27 million for the communication system, right? They said, because of Albion. Albion, how many cell phones do you have back in 1980?
Go ahead, caller.
None.
That troubled area is the 8 and 900 block on 38th Street.
What's that?
The cars are parking all over,
Yeah.
and they even park on the sidewalk right away.
Well, you're talking about the 900 block East 38th.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about now. She's got the problem up on Rice Avenue now too.
Oh boy, that sounds like they're from Barron then.
Well, no, she has a couple of young families that moved in, but you know what happens, John? It's very simple. It's the old theory about, like I said earlier, you let a little thing go. One person decides he's going to do it, so the neighbor goes, "Geez, I didn't know you could park on your drive. Nobody's doing anything, so why should I park? I need a parking space. I'll park up there too."
Yeah.
And then, it keeps growing and growing, and if the city doesn't take, action.
So you on 38th in that area, you have the post office abusing it. They park like 20 feet away from a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
And nobody's told anything. And the biggest problem with Erie, we have code enforcement that doesn't do anything.
No, that's the, I heard the comment, well, we're proactive.
You're proactive, my God.
Proactive to me is driving around, and you finish up the call that you took in the morning, you're on your way back and you go, well, look at this. I drove back today, and John, I came along the Bayfront Highway, right?
Yeah.
And I was coming back from a meeting this morning, and I'm going, look at all the litter. Look at all even on the state, right there at 12th and Bayfront Highway, they have that automatic salting thing or something. Do you ever see that?
Yes.
That building?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's graffitied. Now, if that ain't the ultimate insult.
Well, Jessica's gone now, but she only cared about the west side.
Well, no. To be fair to her, she cared, but she was cleaning up like along the Bayfront on the east side too, where that wall was and everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody lost interest because it was a nice feel-good project, right?
Yeah.
And now you go back and you look around town, and it's growing.
Whatever happens to the graffiti task force?
I had a
don't think it's there
TV
anymore.
shop, repair shop, and they had these old TVs. My God, I could fill a truckload up just going around the city.
Yeah, not only that, couches. We must be. I'm going to joke. Either Schultz or somebody. They must have a hell of an inventory in Erie.
Yeah, but
I've never seen so many couches. I mean, people must have 3 couches in their house.
these people can't read the regs of a pickup. I've got a TV that's been sitting here up on 42nd and Page now for 3 weeks. It's about a 35-incher. It sits right there.
Yeah, they don't care because you know what? The truth is, John,
Because
they're not going to do nothing either.
go out and do their job.
Best Buy will take them. You just go up to Best Buy, you put it in there, take them.
But there's people going around. I put out a grill the other day, an old grill.
They'll take metal.
Yeah, it was picked up and I tell you, the guy was helping me pull it out of the garage.
Yeah, that's aluminum.
Out of my shed,
And it's got metal to it. They won't take TVs. They won't take all that stuff. But, it's ridiculous. And while I'm on the line here, I'd like to thank the street department because they did a great job. I gave them a call down there and told them that there was potholes from 38th Street all the way up to 42nd Street on Page. Mm-hmm. And they came out and they got them all.
They're usually pretty good about it.
Yes, if you talk to them decently.
Well, yeah, good. I have a couple of people on there I know real well. Danny's one, and
Yeah, I think it might have been his crew.
I'll bug him like at the when I see him, and oh geez, he'll gripe it a little bit at me and joke, but you know what? By 48 hours they'll be done.
But I have somebody down at the sign shop that I know, and they're making me some signs for all the Erie streets. Travel at your own risk.
I'm amazed. It's little things like street signs that are missing, and
we took out a bond for $8 million, and I see all these new equipment coming. The mayor's buying equipment with that instead of paving the road.
Read like I told that one lady. Read the comprehensive plan. It's available.
I read it, and it's a joke.
Well, you don't think there was some relevance in there?
There was some, but
I read between the lines, John. I spent a lot. I came back on my trip, and
you have to have complete cooperation.
Well, when I read it, the guy was pretty straightforward about what the problems were, which I think we already knew.
It's the Lower East Side.
Yeah, but the way he put it was he was very open about the lack of
cooperation.
Yeah, and the lack of on our part of doing the things that should be done.
Right.
Like he said, putting money into the political decision of do we put so much on the west side, so much on the east side, so much on the north side, so much on the south side, so nothing gets done. Remember, that was his comment.
That's right.
His comment was
here is you saw it last Wednesday at the meeting.
Yeah, and I agree with his comment about
you got a gentleman who brings all his so-called students up, demanding jobs,
right,
money. That's not the place to do it. They're not taking that CDBG money and putting it out appropriately. They're giving it to the same centers that get the same all the time.
Well, the problem too is
spread it around.
Some of that money is there are guidelines where we can put so much of it.
Yes.
And then they try to look for places that got the biggest impact. Well, you know, we keep going around about this job creation program.
Not the
Jobs in
city's
this
job.
town.
But I think you got to remember this. The city has their own jobs program. We've had it for years.
There's about $600,000 going to that a year.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd like to put more in, but, you know, the kids do, I mean, I was a benefactor of that when I was a young person. You know, we went out and we cut grass,
That was
For the
different
parks
times.
department.
yeah, and you know what, I mean, the county at that time, I don't remember them ever coming down and saying, oh, geez, we'd like to help you. No. And, you know, all of a sudden now there's a problem. And you have to look at, you know, the reasons why people are complaining about that. But, you know, if they want to, if the county wants to take on a jobs program, so be it. You know, we have our own.
Well, I think that group that came down came to the wrong place.
Well, you know, they're trying to,
Well, good intentions, and they wanted to be heard, but they should go right down across the way there, down up there in that other courtroom.
yeah, well, I think they are getting money from there, but they, you know, hey, look, and we've said all along, if they think our program's not being run right, well, then tell us where the problems are, we'll correct it. But we put a lot of kids to work every year,
Well, sure.
and, you know, we've had a jobs program for years. And, you know, the school district used to have one, and, you know,
It was back in the 60s I was working,
yeah, I mean,
so that's how long that has been.
yep, I
You
mean,
had money back then, you ain't got money now.
well, I mean, we put 600,000 there. That's not bad, you know. And we put kids to work, but, you know, when they tell me that, you know, my dad told me when I was young, he says, start walking down the street, okay, and start asking people if they need to hire anybody.
Right. Well, there's enough signs out there where they're hiring people, but the problem is they can't pass the drug test or anything else.
And whose fault is that?
That's true.
You know, you make decisions in life, and sometimes
They're the wrong ones.
I tell kids all the time, you know, these college kids that go, you know, you're going to ruin my career. No, you did that. You did that when you did stupid things, okay? You were warned. You had warnings. You had, you know what happened to people my age, Sean, when they goofed up?
Yeah, it was Harbor Creek in those days.
Yeah, but you know what happens after they get done with you in that phase?
Yeah.
I knew many a man that faced a judge, and they told him, son, you're about to serve your country.
Yep.
And we had a few of them in my barracks, and they weren't.
If not, you're going to jail.
Yep, and you know what? You make those decisions in life, but
Not better people.
I ride around all the time. I mean, if you want a job, you know, sometimes I think it is what they want is some people don't want to. Look, I cleaned toilets when I was a young man. I didn't like it, but that's what you do when you start out in phase one.
When you're on the bottom, you work your way up.
If you go to McDonald's, yeah, you're going to wash the parking lot, pick up the garbage, you know. You're not going to be, you know, it depends on your skill level, but hey, you know what? A lot of people have, you know, started out at McDonald's, they started out grocery stores, gas stations when I was a young man. You know, how many kids worked there pumping gas? You know, we went out, we didn't go down to the unemployment office all the time. We just walked down the street, started knocking on doors. You know, we shoveled walks. When we got older and we could work legally,
True.
we just, you know, they look and they go, well, we know they're hiring at McDonald's. We know they're hiring at the grocery store. You know, you did those things.
I worked in the Northeast in the summers.
Picking fruit probably, right?
Yep, they pick you right up there at the old public library with the truck, and you'd go out to the Northeast and you'd work.
Hey, you know, my first cultural shock was working for Natalie Pacilio. You know, from Erie County Farms?
Yeah.
I joke with her to this day about the rebellion we had. She hired neighborhood kids, and the truck would pull up on 26th Street when she had that tent.
Yeah.
You know, we'd come down there and we figured, oh, you know, kids get the shock about, yeah, you're actually going to have to work.
Yeah, and you worked, but you got paid decently.
Yeah, and we were in the back of a truck. I tell you what, I never seen watermelons roll off a truck so quick. I mean, we had guys falling off the truck. I mean, and you know, I joke with her, you know, she paid you well and you worked.
Yeah.
But you know, that was a culture shock. All of a sudden, you find out that, yeah, you're gonna get. She's paying twice as much as everybody else, but guess what? You get you know.
Well, I see the taxpayers stuck again.
What's that?
I see the taxpayers are stuck again.
What do you mean?
What, $3 million from GEDIC going bankrupt.
Yeah.
And you know what the sad part about it? I heard the county executive saying she's doing her darndest to prevent this, and we have a mayor sitting on the board, and he doesn't even comment. You know, I think back to that. I think about the juice plant, the Kohler project, all that.
And this all stems from the pipe dream at...
It all stems from these people getting money where they shouldn't.
Well, remember the Harbor Creek project they didn't want?
Well,
And we kept saying, well, why don't you offer it to the city? You know, we'd be glad to take that railroad siding down there on the east side.
Yeah.
In fact, Father Jerry and his group, I don't think they would argue. Look how they're going to support that new plant,
How many
right?
people would they have hired?
Huh?
How many people would they have hired?
What, GID, well, I don't know, they had, what was it on the page? Was it 7 or 8 people, John?
on the board,
Yeah, I mean, the people that were salaried employees,
I think there might be about 7 or 8, but the majority of them have six-figure salaries.
oh yeah, I mean, and then they had these pipe dreams about, the previous gentleman, and
Now, with this bankruptcy, does that stop their salary?
well,
Someone's quitting.
they're all quitting, so I guess that terminates that, but, and then you got a case of like Barron, they wanted no part of him.
That's where DJ should go out to Knowledge Park. They might have an empty warehouse for him.
Yeah.
There you go.
That is a good possibility.
But,
I actually
John,
know people there too.
These people that sometimes on these boards, there's a political reality. You mean, you come up with a project, you don't bother, putting it by the Harbor Creek supervisors.
Wait a second.
And then all of a sudden, now you're surprised they don't want it in a bedroom community, right?
Yes.
Did you do your homework?
Well, how about that communication system, $27 million?
Just as bad as the school district accepting that $3.5 million from LECOM to get their prices down. Now that's over 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And look how much they were assessed. I'm going to go down there and tell them I want to be reassessed, and I'm going to give them $100 a month for the next 10 years.
I just hammered one of my local legislators again about we need help. We need, the nonprofits share a little bit more.
That's true.
I mean, I'm not against classrooms or churches being exempt, but some of the auxiliary features, such as arenas and dorms for rent and all that.
Yeah, and they're selling products and the whole shot.
Well, yeah, I mean, these things the world's got to change a little bit, but yeah, you're right, John.
We have another local city entity that's probably going to go bankrupt before long.
Who's that?
The Redevelopment Authority. They haven't paid their taxes.
Yeah, there's some issues there.
So that's the trouble. There's too many issues. The people should use their own money.
Now, who's Gannon buying? What's that new building? I forgot now. I'm trying to remember.
Verizon?
There's another one they're getting. They just had it, I'm trying to remember which one it was. They're going to get another building, and I'm going, here's another one off the tax rolls.
18th and State.
Here we go. Well, I'll get off and let somebody else go. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Don't forget to go out and vote tomorrow. Vote many times.
Early and often, right?
Yes, but there's nothing to vote unless you're voting for delegates, and
The delegate's already done.
Well, the one gentleman that was, promising all those things on TV,
yeah.
he took out the last line, which was my favorite football team was going to win the Super Bowl.
Who is that?
You can figure it out. The guy that advertises the 20 issue long list.
Oh yeah, but
I said if he hit my team getting the Super Bowl, now we're talking some.
They're going to be finally eating goat in Chicago this year. Have a good one.
Okay.
Oh, that 18th, that's the St. Martin Center.
Yeah, but who's paying for that?
Well, that's a
Non-profit?
Well, yeah, they are.
Look at the money to put in that place.
Well,
So I'm getting back to this communication system. Okay, $27 million.
Can you hold your thought again?
Okay, $27 million. Now, the federal government's coming in, and they're doing the same damn thing. So they're doing the same thing. So what the hell are they spending $27 million when the federal government's coming in and doing the same thing?
Let's get back, right after we get this person. Go ahead.
Hi.
Yes.
First of all, you and John need to go out and eat lunch so y'all can discuss everything.
Oh, John, I actually visited him at his house.
Secondly, I want to know what's going on East 19th Street. What are they trying to push the people out? We got poles down on 19th and the 800 block. He's buying up all the empty lots, spraying the grass with this poison that kills the grass, so you don't have to mow it. We got right here where A1 used to be. There's nothing but a pile of frames of cars, the chassis.
You're talking
on
about
top of each
Raspberry.
other.
Cascade?
Yeah, and then
Raspberry
on
Cascade
Parade
area.
Street here, this big pile of dirt, and a bunch of students came out last week and cleaned up some, but it's still, Crenshaw had them to put all the trash in the pile, and the piles of trash are still there, and people are still dumping on the piles, and the dirt is real hot. What is going on? Our streets haven't been touched in over 10 years.
Are you this is not the west side, this is the east side?
This is East 19th Street. We got that scrub board ripple all the way from Parade to Buffalo Road. Nobody's been out to ever touch our road. It's been 10 years. Are they trying to push the people out? I wish you would write us a letter and just tell us to move out.
I'm going to find out, because I think you're the lady I tried to talk to once. You invited me down there?
She's just talked about it.
And it's getting worse and worse. And the majority of the people on 19th Street are seniors. And what they would like to know, we want them out. Just send a letter and say, move, sell your house and get out. Because Poe is doing damage to the neighborhood.
Taking up the whole area.
Now, A.E. Austin's, he's doing great. He buys the land up, he plants grass, it's green. Everything is green. He plants trees.
And the other guy is POHL?
Yeah, Poe.
Yeah, because, you called me in the past about those car lots around the corner and everything, right?
Right. In back of us, we got right here on 18th and Wallace. They bought this building. I don't know what they're working on, and I don't know what they're burning. But the fire department has been out over and over because they're burning something toxic, and it goes into the people's homes. A lot of these people are on oxygen. You know what I mean? Got breathing problems and stuff. And the black smoke just goes directly into their house. It's just, the neighborhood, it just came apart, and it's because of the big semi-trucks coming down through here. When did that start? When was that allowed for semis to come down through 19th Street? It's bad.
When you first called me a couple years ago, I remember I found out where the snow was coming from. Remember you asked me?
Right, they were dumping snow over here, yeah.
You guys want to guess where the snow come from?
Streets.
State Police Headquarters out on Lawrence Park.
Yeah, just bring it to the city and dump it.
And then a lot of it came from Upper Peach Street.
Wow.
Yeah,
right here into our yards.
And when I asked about it, they said it's permissible.
Yeah, everything is permissible for 19th Street. It seems that way.
Well, you know what? There's a perception, and they tell me I'm lying, but I said it's the truth. It's reality that the east side does not get good treatment.
No.
And I mean, the west siders will get mad at me about that, but look, I've lived on both sides of town. And
on this street is a taxpayer.
If you pulled this crap up in Glenwood Park or up in South Shore, they'd be screaming their lungs off.
Yep.
But like next to my house, for years I had a pile of crap being dumped there until one gentleman at least filled it in. But, that stuff is like tolerated. It's like, well, it's okay,
Yeah, but if you have it on your property, then you'll get a citation.
Yeah.
As you live, someone lives there. But anything else, no one lives across the streets in this big empty lot over here.
So the two contributors seem to be this Mr. Pohl and Mr. Crenshaw?
Waste manager.
Right, Poles and Crenshaw. Those are the ones that's messing up our neighborhoods. City, I bet they're from the county. They don't live over this way. But they can come over into our neighborhoods and do what they want to do.
Well, that's who's ruining the east side with a lot of these rentals, too, is
yes?
People that live out in, they got summer homes in Carolina, winter homes in McKeon.
Yeah, but they can come to our neighborhoods where we pay taxes and do what they want. Now, the cars down here, the 19th between Wallace and Ash.
Right.
Chassis are set up, there's big rats. We haven't had any problems with rats. Now, all of a sudden, there's rats. And they bring the chassis in old cars with broken glass, windows.
19th between Wallace and what?
between Wallace and Ash, where A1 used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Erie Laundry was. Remember the Erie Laundry?
Right.
All right, that's where it's at. And they stacked on top of each other. And it's bad. It's just turning rust, and it's glass where the windshield is broken in. The glass hasn't been removed from the cars. There's kids playing around. There's a daycare next to it. I mean, like I said, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to hang up. If the city wants all of us to move out of here, just write us a letter. Put it on paper.
You know, I'd like to take a tour with you sometime.
There she is. There you go.
I'll get your phone number and I'll meet you down there someday, okay?
All right.
I'll pick out a day and, we'll spend... I did a little walkthrough at two neighborhoods already. I did the Lower West Side. A gentleman took me around there, and then we also did one on the east side over there by... between McKinley, just a little bit south of McKinley School.
Yeah.
So I walked a couple neighborhoods, but I drive by there every day, pretty much on my way to work, and I have taken a couple of side trips there.
Ride by today and just look where the Erie Laundry used to be at. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. And pay attention to the road as you ride down it, okay? Make sure you got your seatbelt on and don't have any coffee standing free.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for calling.
Stay after the show.
There's a young lady. He's got pictures about...
Yeah, if you stick around.
Stick around.
Or leave your number over there.
Stick around, just show them the pictures. Okay, let's get back to that $27 million.
Right.
Now they're spending that money. The federal government's coming in doing the exact same thing. And it's public knowledge.
Yeah.
2017 and 18, they'll be putting that in. Why did the county have to put this $27 million and borrow it? And they're doing the same identical thing.
The communication center?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No one seems to know, but they want to know where I found it. Well, it's public knowledge.
The county seems to be on a different...
They're on a different plane. They got money to burn. Just like $3 million.
they're taking over everything.
Just like how are we making out with the transit authority?
I'll make a comment. Go ahead, caller.
We'll get these suckers straightened out.
Yes, I'd like to know why the city hall, everybody only works 7.5 hours.
Boom.
7.5 hours. Well, I never worked 7.5, but...
8:30 to 4:30, add it up.
Well, it's 8 hours, and you got a half an hour for lunch. That's what they're probably figuring, but that was negotiated years ago. I couldn't tell you really.
Before our time.
Before my time, yeah.
So I think they ought to work straight 8 hours and take their 1 hour lunch. Work 8 to 5.
Like everybody else does.
Yeah, that's an issue that...
Apartment fee.
Yeah, I'm saying now it's like anything, like you deal with teachers. I mean, those were negotiated items, that's probably not...
You better renegotiate.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done. You ever been at negotiations?
No.
Once you give something out, it's very tough to bring it back. It's like once the horse leaves the barn, okay, good luck getting him back in. But it is a thought. I've always thought that government should be more in line. And some departments do this. They actually stay open during lunchtime so that the citizens who are on lunch break...
They should.
They can at least... My department always had somebody, when I was controller, we were always there, and many times we were there half hour after work even, and to the benefit of many of the departments, usually a lot of them, like even the treasurer, she keeps staff on hand. Very few departments actually shut down for lunch. And that's the way it should be. And the way we approach the building, too, we should have parking for the citizens, so that they can do their business down here. Because after all, it's their revenue that keeps us going.
Yep, all right.
No, you have a good point, but I imagine that goes back to negotiated items years ago.
Yeah, but times have changed, just like in the unions. Everything's changed.
Well, you
when
know what?
everybody was making good money, no one said a word. And all of a sudden, we didn't get no raises over the years.
What it takes is somebody to be proactive on one end, and then there's the art of negotiation. That's what it's all about.
Negotiations.
But, council doesn't get into that. It's usually administration, and that's.
That's a joke, the administration.
Go ahead, caller. You're still on. Oh, is he off?
No call. No.
Okay, EMTA. As of now, there's a meeting tonight, a board meeting. I will be attending it. I'll be able to give you an update. Council's position is we signed a contract. EMTA signed a contract. The county seems to have a problem with that. And the way we found out about it was through the newspaper. And the so-called people that accused us of not meeting with them, we did. There was no negotiations. For familiar with history, it was tantamount to being the Japanese on the deck of the Missouri, Lee at Appomattox, or better yet, Panmunjom, where they argued where to put the chairs at the negotiation table every day.
Yes, but what they want is authority.
Yes, they do.
What they want to do is put their friends.
We were told.
Just like the water department.
Yeah.
There's the prime. Now I'm still pissed off that we have to.
Hey, watch your language.
Excuse my language. I'm still teed off about them charging us to make the bill out. If you look at the second bill this time, 25. That's $50 a quarter.
Ronnie.
Transparency. I want to hear that.
Ronnie, what you don't think? Do you really think when we collected, we didn't charge you?
But we didn't. Well, I don't know what that.
Yes, we did. Who do you think? Let me ask you a question. Who do you think? Huh?
Okay, how do they get away with doing this?
Well, let me ask you a question. When we collect a bill, okay, take anybody in America, take any company, okay, do you think they do it for free?
No.
What do you think they do?
Well, like I said, like I told you before, if you went to Home Depot, spend $1,000, you get $1,000 you have to pay back. And they don't charge you to make the bill out.
Sure they do. You don't see it, that's all.
Well,
what did you take at college?
Oh, I didn't go to college.
What did you take at business school?
Nothing.
And you're going to sit here and tell me.
Well, I'm going to say.
Wait a minute. I'm not saying. I am not telling you because I'm an accountant, okay? But I'm telling you in reality, okay. Do you really think when you go to the TV station, you buy an ad, okay? You're not paying for the stuff you don't see?
Oh, probably.
When you go to the doctor's office, you pay your bill. You paying him, or you paying for every nurse that's in his office? You're paying for his insurance. You're paying for their insurance.
I still don't see it's right. $50 a quarter.
Look, here's how it worked. When we collected the bills, okay, we charged you. That's all. That I can't remember, Ronnie. I never. I used to pay my bills. I didn't pay attention. Okay.
Right.
When I was just a young man, first married, I paid my bill, whatever it was, and it was a flat rate. Remember, for a long time. Do you remember that?
Right.
Okay. You paid your bill, and you know what? Did I know where the money? Sure, the money was buried in the budget. Okay. It's why they came up with a garbage fee. For years, when we picked up garbage, it was absorbed in the general budget.
Right.
So you'd have to really dig in there to find where it was. Okay, but you probably wouldn't find it out. You'd have to know how many people were involved in collecting your garbage, you had the secretaries, all that, okay? That's what they call cost accounting, okay? Now just hang on and I'll finish, okay? Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. How come he doesn't complain about the electric company charging $10 a month and the gas company $12 a month?
Hey, I tell him, I said, here's what happened. When sir, can I say something to you real quick? When we farmed it out, and, they decided to do it for us, we knew how much it was going to cost us. So they show that bill, just like the cable company, the franchise fee. They tell you right on there how much they're sending back to Erie. Go ahead, caller. Are you still there?
I don't think so.
Okay. Now, the gentleman brings up a point. Everybody does it. Okay, here's the thing. In the old days, we didn't tell you how much we were doing. We never told you. Okay? So now, when we farmed it out, and there was a cost.
How long ago was that?
That was before I was a councilman, so that goes back to probably sometime maybe during the Flippy rain, I'm not sure. But they farmed it out, and they decided, her office bid on it, the water, everybody bid on it. They decided to farm it out to the water authority. Okay, so administratively, there's a cost. All right? Now remember, the bill you're paying for the water, that's a separate issue. That's the water, that's the sewer. Okay? Now in the old days, what they would have done is you would have got a bill, and they might not have told you how much was actually for water usage. You would have got a gross bill, okay? So now they're saying, okay, here's your water charge, here's your sewer charge, here's your garbage charge. And by the way, because of the way we split the bills, there's your 25 for this side and your 25 for that side. That's our administrative costs. Now that's a quarter, right? So that means for them to do you, okay, it costs them on the one side $100, on the other side $100. Now remember, that includes their computer charges, that's all their secretaries, everything. That's all absorbed in there. Whatever they had to do extra to collect those bills, that's how in cost accounting, that's how you recover that. Okay, well, you could sit there and lie. I'll tell you what, if you want, Ron, I'll tell them tomorrow. I mean, I have to get votes to do it. We'll hide it again. We'll make you happy, we'll hide it, and you can go on thinking in the dream world that you're not paying for it, okay? But the reality is you're going to pay for it. You go to the bank, you're paying for it. You go to Lowe's, you said Lowe's, right? In the cost of that merchandise, okay, when you do cost accounting, you ever did see, if you ever did that, what they tell you is, we had to do a problem one time when I was at Gannon, and they said, I was making a potato chip bag, and how much would you sell this bag for? Sounds like a simple, make it a quarter. No, what you do is you say, here's how much it costs to grow the potatoes, here's how much it costs to pick them, here's how much it costs to slice them and cook them, here's how much it costs for the products to bag them and all that, all your workers, you take all those figures, you jumble them up, and then you figure out what's a unit cost we got to get to make a profit. And that determines the price of the bag. So when you buy a bag of chips and you pay 50 cents, right? Now what if they said on that bag, the contents cost 14 cents, our insurance cost, would you be outraged?
Probably.
Why? You're paying now, you're not complaining now like that gentleman said. You're not complaining one bit about buying at Lowe's.
It adds up to the same amount.
And yet, so the government now, the federal government, state, but they want transparency. They want people to know. This is why in the future, when you look at the pensions and the deferred comps and the insurance, we have to start telling you how much that's going to cost you for the next 20 years. Okay? Is that a good thing? Absolutely. Now people know that, kicking the can down the road is not a good idea, that, merely saying, you heard the statement, our grandkids are going to pay for it. Well, now you're going to see how much our grandkids are going to pay for it. And what's bad about that? So you keep complaining about your $25, and, I'm just telling you, they're showing you actually what it costs them to collect it. Are they making a little profit off it? Probably. Where does it say that, entities can't make money? We make money. We try to make a little bit of money so we have a little extra at the end of the day.
Okay.
But, I mean, look, I understand your frustration. But for years, you paid that. You just never saw it. It was buried in the budget under the treasurer's office or the water department, and you just never saw it. It was under salaries. It was under insurance. It was under, what do you call it, all the various accounts that went into that. Equipment, capital funds.
Okay.
Yeah. And fathom this, if we farm it out again, it goes to someone else, okay? Maybe you'll see a different fee. But I'm telling you, Ron, you're every bit justified in asking, but it's not like, remember, they don't work for the city. They're a separate authority. Okay? Now, if they're collecting our bills, okay, they're going to charge us for the water. And remember, it's our water, but the sewer is different. That's ours. Okay? So that's a better analogy. Okay, you're generating sewage. Okay, they don't get any money out of the sewage. Okay, you can make a case on the water they do, okay? But the sewage is that's different. So now if they're collecting our bills, should they do it for free? That's my question to you.
Well, I'll tell you, when you've got water coming in, say you got a pool.
Yeah, but I'm saying...
Wait, you got a pool, okay, say 10,000 gallons.
Right.
Okay, you got to pay for that money. But then you get a sewer bill, 10,000 gallons. But the 10,000 gallons ain't going in the sewer. It's going in the pool.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But
So why should you be charged 10,000 gallons?
There was an assumption made years ago that they thought of different formulas. 50%, 100% in, 50% out, 100% in, 75% out. They decided that the best thing to do is just figure whatever you generate is going somewhere, eventually. Okay? It's either going into the ground or whatever, but the theory was that you just cover the costs. Basically what we do is we look at our costs, okay, and determine the rates based on how much it costs to take care of the water we generate. Now, we could put gauges on there. That'd be very costly. You could put sewer gauges on there, just like years ago when we started metering water. You can meter sewer.
Who did that was GE.
Well, they're required. What we did with large companies is because of their usage, we metered their water intake and outtake.
Right.
But to do it to every home would be very expensive.
Very expensive, yeah.
You have to remember, you have to probably dig it up, too.
Well, here's Welchett out north here. How many millions of gallons of water goes through that plant? And 90%
But I don't think they get their water from us, do they?
I'm pretty sure they do.
I'm not sure if they do, but
My buddy has a house, cottage down on 89 and 5.
I'm not so sure the water goes out that far, but I'm not positive.
80 goes out to 89, I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
You know, Dole's campgrounds?
they
Buddy
paid.
has
Don't forget, they paid. One of the biggest problems we have now is that we have excess capacity because of Hammermill leaving.
Hammermill, GE.
Hammermill was really
Oh, they sucked up a lot of water.
yeah. Because of that, that was huge with us, and now we still got the same infrastructure. Okay. You still got the same amount of pipes under the
So all the
ground.
water that Hammermill used, they're not using anymore. So we have to, as taxpayers, we have to make up the difference.
Well, only if they're generating the water, but in the case of the sewer, you still got the infrastructure there, but you're not cleaning it and everything, okay? But I think they paid a higher rate, so they actually helped the situation a little bit, But no, I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that, your questions, but long range, I mean, they're going to charge you, for collecting their bill. I mean, your bill, okay? But now on the water end, what they're doing is they're separating on your water bill. Don't forget, when that's just not about water. That's about there's a fixed cost for every cubic foot of water that's been figured out that covers all their expenses. Okay? In other words, there's a fixed and variable cost. Some costs change with volume, some don't. Some, no matter what you do, you still got the same cost, whether you whether they pump a gallon out to you or not. Other ones vary with the volume, okay? At the end of the day, they got to know how much it is to deliver the product to you, and that includes the wages, the salaries, all, and that's all buried. You don't see that. So if you want to make a same case, you should yell at them to say, well, how much is actually the water?
Well, who do you go to? They do what they want to do down there. You have nothing to go to.
Well, it's legal under accounting. Look in accounting, if they were to break it down, everything for everybody, the average person wouldn't understand it. Okay, so they're trying to make a lot of things easy to understand. Here's how much your bill is for water. And here's how much it costs for them to collect your bill, okay?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm telling you, you paid in the past, you just never saw it.
What did you say, you pay every quarter? What's that, every 3 months? You get a bill every 3 months?
You get it up 1 week, you get the water, and the next week you get the...
And we are trying to close that loophole. We have been trying like heck, and we're going to continue telling them we want the bills separated, and I think we're going to get it, okay?
They are separated.
Well, no, separated more. Our original plan was to have them at least a minimum of about 2 months apart.
Yeah, because you get 1 week, and a lot of people are fixed income. They get their income tax check or as taxes or whatever, and what do I got? I got to take
Yeah.
$50 to pay the 2 bills.
And be fair, Ron, we told them there was a what do you call it, honeymoon period where they were setting up their system. We went along with that, okay? Well, we're telling them now, look, you've had enough time to work out the problems, okay? Let's separate the bill now.
Would it be less painful if you paid every month? Because then you break it up into 3, and then it's not 50.
But I'm looking at the person that gets 1 check a month, a Social Security check, okay? Say you got $1,000, okay? Oh, I got to pay this bill, I got to pay. No, I don't have enough money no money for food. That's the guys I'm looking at.
They will make payment plans if that's your problem too, okay?
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who don't have any money. Erie's going to be a distraught city. As soon as GE... I was talking to a guy down at Fort Myers, just talking, and he worked for Toyota. He's on the board, the corporate headquarters for Toyota. And they have 5 or 6 assembly plants in Cincinnati. The corporate's at Cincinnati. Guess what they're doing? They're moving to Texas. Wait a minute. It's bad enough our country has to fight China, Vietnam, and all them. Now we got to fight within the United
Ron,
States.
what do you think? What do you think the first Texas was?
Where?
North Carolina.
Yeah, then they moved over.
When I was a kid, and then I talked to a guy one time when I was still in the Army at the time. I was talking to one of the guys, and he said, "How'd you like to be me? I am labeling boxes it's going to Arizona. That's going to be relabeled when they get to Arizona, and they're going over the border, right?" And I mean, this has been going on for years. Okay, but nobody ever paid attention because, when things are going good and you got a job, you don't worry about the other guy.
How about Erie? Erie doesn't have anything now.
Well, that's a cause of many things.
Like that
Some Commonwealth problems, some our own, okay?
Now, Jefferson Society, why don't you got all these brains that go there, why don't you try to figure out a way to get work into Erie?
Well, they know how to get work here, but it's
Boy,
good.
they don't want it.
No, we all know deep down what the issues are, okay? They're going to be very painful issues, all right? The old days are gone. The factories have found a way that no more are you going to be seeing, 20,000 people plants paying the kind of great living wages that they paid in the old days.
Them all gone.
Yeah, they're not going to do it because you know what? They can do the same 20,000 plant in another state, and you know the reasons.
The right to work.
I'm not going to say those reasons publicly because everybody knows them. I mean, the guy for GE, the head of the union, knows exactly what they're up to. He knows it. And, you got to battle philosophies. Some people feel like, that people deserve a living wage. This is America.
Yeah.
Other people look at it, the old days when you had a guy like Mr. Lord or Mr. The Barron family, okay, that felt like, it was important to take care of the people in their community, like the old Henry Ford. Why did he build libraries? He wanted his people smart, so that they were smart enough to not only work hard for him, and he paid them a good wage because he knew they wouldn't leave him then. He wouldn't go to the next job because why would you leave when you're happy? And then, ultimately he hoped they bought their own cars. Detroit was founded on that, right? Mm-hmm. Today, it's a different world. Nobody cares about paying families. The entrepreneurs that started Erie are gone. The corporate decisions are made
elsewhere
in other states by people that they could care less about coming to Erie or living here or anything.
Now, that parking lot down there you guys are building down there at the GAF plant, I thought you guys were supposed to only use so much of that land. It looks like it took 3/4 of the land down there.
What, you mean that parking lot?
That parking.
The ramp?
Yeah.
No, it's not taking that much space.
Go take a look down there.
Oh, I have been, but you don't. Do you ever see the whole footprint?
No.
You need to look at the whole footprint. That's not a large part of it.
What the hotel going in?
Actually, what it covers, though, it covers the wart that is there.
Man, the chemicals.
Yeah. There was very limited uses to that wart, and this one covers it. I don't agree that it should have been that. It could have been something else, but you could not have put certain things there on that spot. But the plan, you've never seen the plan, Ron?
It's like the Harper dump. That
Yeah,
got
but
covered up.
look it up. Look up the other, it's encapsulated down there though, okay? Look up the plan for the, I'm sure the convention center has it on their website. We may have it, Go Erie probably has it. But look at the conception of what they planned. It's actually a nice plan. And it's an organized plan that that has some commercial, some retail, and some residential.
Who's going to go back there, down there in the wintertime?
They said the same thing about the people that live there on the pier.
You ain't getting.
People go to the library, people drive on that Bayfront Highway to go home.
That's-
What's the
that's
difference?
to me- that's
What's the
to me
difference if you stop there and you have a coffee? What do they do in Chicago? What do they do in Minneapolis? I just come back and, we must be the biggest wimps in the world then, because I was in Minneapolis and they don't, people in the middle of 20-degree below zero are still going to the IHOP and buying coffee at Starbucks, okay? And they're not all taking the skyways either, the walkways. I mean, come on, look, yeah, it's cold down there, okay? Ice fishermen go out there. Did anybody ask them why, right? People go down to rum runners and all that to party and drink. I haven't heard anybody complain about the snow there, walking from there to the, Look, what?
Thanks for having me on.
Take that call.
Ran out of time.
You take that call. Go ahead.
What is it, this one?
Yeah.
Taxpayers Hotline, thanks for calling. That's it. We are out of time.
Actually, though, you just being here, okay? No, it's important.
I'm
Really.
the keeper of the time, and I'll occasionally look things up on my phone.
Yeah. Well, Ronnie, once we get them off this $25 thing, we can get back to.
Yeah, but that's 27,000 for that communication.
What?
Bye.
Still on.
We're going away now.
No, but 27,000. And why is the government's coming and doing the same
I
thing?
don't know. I wish I could tell you.
They asked me 6 times, who told you? Who told you? I got good sources
If
in
I-
right places.
If I see a county councilman, I'll ask him tonight.
But I asked him, I said, what's going on with that 20?